Morning, everybody. This is Martin Zender at the Crack of Dawn Report, and this coffee is extremely hot. And guess who invented the no pain, no gain principle? Yes, it is a principle. God did. I'm just wondering this morning if anybody out there is going through anything that hurts, emotionally, physically. Well, God's doing it for you, not to you. He wants you to make him your everything, and he is getting to the bottom of you. He's reaching down deep and grabbing you. Hebrews 12:7, for discipline are you enduring. As to sons is God bringing it to you. Now check out verse 11. Discipline indeed for the present is not seeming to be a thing of joy, but of sorrow. If you're not sorrowing, if you're not suffering, then it's not discipline. God is reaching deep, and he has to get your attention. And he knows how to do it. This is also from verse 11. Yet subsequently, it is rendering the peaceable fruit of righteousness. What is the discipline, the sorrow? And you can't imagine how this thing could possibly have a sequel that produces peaceable fruit. Here's the rest of that, verse 11. It's yielding the peaceable fruit of righteousness to those exercised through it. You're not going to get out of it, you're going to go through it. I used to walk 8 miles every day. I used to be a walking freak, an endurance athlete. I used to run marathons. I bicycled across the country twice, and I used to walk 8 miles a day. 8 miles a day, 2.5 hours, 6 days a week, never lost any fat. Not kidding you. I meandered through the countryside. Sometimes I was on my cell phone. I could talk easily to you anytime I was walking because I never got out of breath. It was a pleasant experience. I'd be looking at the birds. Never lost any weight. Fat stays. Then I read that you had to stress the body to get it into shape. You had to shock the body to wake it up. You had to reach to the innermost part of your being to shock that metabolism into action to burn the fat. In other words, you kind of had to make an impression on your body or it wouldn't get it. And now I do an 8.5 minute workout. I don't walk 8.5 miles 6 days a week. I do an 8.5 minute workout 3 days a week. I hate every minute of it. It consists of 10 50-yard sprints followed by short periods of walking. I'm talking maybe 20 seconds of walking. And before you completely recover, you start on the next sprint. But you're out of breath. You hate it, but you're stressing the body. This is the most reliable way to lose fat. It's also the most efficient way because in 8.5 minutes, I accomplished more than when I was walking 8 miles for 2.5 hours. Because one of the keys to health, and this is scientifically provable, is stressing the body. Stress and rest, stress and rest, stress and rest. Your heart has to work. The result, the fat was gone. Yeah, I looked good. It's not only a physical principle, a scientific principle, but it's a divine principle. No pain, no gain. But don't freak, because the beautiful thing about this is that the peaceable fruit of righteousness, the result, is way out of proportion to the investment. When you make sure it hurts, you only have to do it for a little bit of time. Quality, not quantity. And the body rejoices for a lengthy period of time that's way out of proportion to your investment. But to get the fruit, you got to reach deep. God operates this way. Listen to Proverbs 20:30. Welts and injury are the scouring agents against evil, and blows purge the chambers of the innermost being. You know, in the law of Moses, if you did wrong, they beat you, and it worked. It wasn't administered in anger. It wasn't administered with fury. It was administered rationally as a prescription, and it worked. It purged the chambers of the innermost being, and it drove away evil. I don't know, maybe I'm crazy. How about we get this going on in our schools? What is the matter with schools? Discipline problems. They have no respect for the teachers. They're running rampant, but oh, we're politically correct. We can't touch them. We can't do anything to them. You have to preserve the precious children. They're so delicate, you see. We are a society of wussies and wimps. We have no backbone. So instead of dealing with the problem, we let them suffer in their vexations for the rest of their lives. When 5 minutes of purposeful, hard discipline would have solved their problem, possibly for life. Because Proverbs 20:30, and this is the wisdom of God in the book of Proverbs, says that welts and injury scour away evil. 5 minutes would have cured it. So how nice are we really? This is why verse 12 of Hebrews 12 says, "Wherefore stiffen the flaccid hands and the paralyzed knees, and make upright tracks for your feet. Be manly and womanly, take the streets back, and you will produce the peaceable fruit of righteousness." I spanked my kids when they were little. Yeah, I mean, why did I do it? Because I loved them. I didn't give them these token stupid swats that you see parents give. They're all mad, and you see these parents at the store threatening their kids with stupid threats that they're never going to do. I disciplined them in a godly manner, in a loving manner, not out of anger, but out of purpose. I believe Proverbs. I believe God. I see God doing this in my own life with discipline. I trust Him that He knows what He's doing. He's doing this for me, not to me. And if He's not disciplining me, then I'm not His son. And afterwards there were tears. They were crying. I was crying. I hugged them close. I held on to them tightly. I had delivered them from what was vexing them. They were just so relaxed in my arms. They were liberated. They were free. The evil was coming out in their tears. And the rest of the day, they were light as a feather. My kids are great citizens today. They're respectful human beings. They and I are enjoying the peaceable fruit of righteousness. Have you ever heard of deep tissue massage? Yeah, it's a thing where they deeply massage your tissues. Listen to this. Where there is chronic muscle tension or injury, there are usually adhesions, bands of painful rigid tissue in muscles, tendons, and ligaments. Adhesions can block circulation and cause pain, limited movement, and inflammation. Deep tissue massage works by physically breaking down those adhesions to relieve pain. The massage therapist often uses direct, deep pressure. None of this wimpy little ooh, ooh, ooh. We're talking Massage therapists may use fingertips, knuckles, hands, elbows, and forearms during deep tissue massage. That's why it's called deep tissue massage. Proverbs 20:30. No pain, no gain. When I did weight training in the past, a lot of the books said you take light weights and you do multiple repetitions with light weights. I see a lot of people doing resistance training this way. You hold a nickel in each hand, do 6,000 reps. Nah, that's not gonna work. I found this fantastic program called the Power of 10. In the Power of 10, you use really heavy weight or resistance. And I do this on a Bowflex. And what you do is instead of doing multiple zillions of repetitions with lightweight, you use the heavy weight and you take 10 seconds to go very, very slowly for the first rep, and you don't use any other muscles to help it. You concentrate on the muscle you're working on, and you're very strict, and you take that muscle to failure within 3 or 6 reps. Failure, it sounds like it hurts. It does. This takes the muscle into the stress mode. You're taking it to failure when it can't go anymore, and then you push it a little bit farther. See, you just go over your endurance. You just go past what you're comfortable with. Because if you stay under what you're comfortable with, you're not going to get the growth. That is God's principle. No pain, no gain. This life, your 80 years or whatever you're going to live, seems like an interminable amount of pain and agony and hassle. But when you compare it to eternity, the investment is this big and the return is this big. That's the only way you're going to get through this life, to see it in perspective. Yeah, maybe I'll work on my hair for next time. The whole idea is to look good naked, right? That's the whole idea, so yeah. Join me next Saturday morning. I'm burning more calories than you right now. For the Claiming God News. This life is just a little tiny investment of time compared to the weight of blessing you're going to get because of it for eternity. Peaceable fruit.